Okay, so it's your master trader here. I'm doing this quick video to give you an overview of the easy trading system and specifically the mantra. So what we're going to do is let's just move this out the way and let us begin. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to give you a quick overview once again of the mantra. So we start with the first slide, which is the SSNK. SN down the bottom here, you see it here. SSNK stands for skin in the game, show up, never give up, and keep it moving. If you're not prepared to put skin in the game, you're not going to get the results you want. Okay, it's like wanting to learn to drive, but not wanting to pay for your driving lessons. It's not going to happen. And just because you put skin in the game doesn't mean you're going to get the results. You still got to show up for your lessons. Okay, and you still got to show up for trading. And you also have to have an attitude that you will never give up. Just because you stalled the car several times, it doesn't mean that's it, you're finished. No, you're going to keep trying. All right. So you're going to never give up. And then you're going to keep it moving. You're going to keep it moving. So if you failed your test once, you don't just stop there. You're going to keep it moving till you pass the test. So this principle applies to trading. Skin in the game, show up, never give up, and then keep it moving. That's if we can't get past that, we can't really go any further. But let's assume we do get past that and we understand that, a shift in the mindset. We then move on to the end game. Because in life, you need to know what your destination is. You wouldn't get in your car to go somewhere and you don't even know where you're going. You don't even know if you're going north, east, south, and west. So you need to see your destination. So I'm showing you your destination. Basically, we started off with 100,000 and in a few days that made 2,000. Yeah, that's 2%. And then a couple of days later, that's 3,500%. But then as we move on, in 1 week, you've taken 100,000 to 113,500. That's over 13% in 1 week. Now, if you do the maths on that, that is a lot of money. Now, you might look at this figure and say, but yeah, I don't have 100,000. Okay. Well, then start with what you've got. You might have 10,000. Then obviously you would take a naught off of that because 13% is 13%. Whether it's 100,000, whether it's a million, it's still 13%. So whether it's £10, it's still 13%. All right. Now we move on. So you can see the end game. All right, which is what you're trying to get to. You want to be able to make consistent profits out of the market, and that's the end game. But it's where are you starting from? We know where the end game is, but you've got to start from somewhere. And just like with your driving lessons, you had to learn the highway code and you had to pass your theory and everything like that. Well, with trading, scientifically, I have found out and discovered that we also need a highway code, and mine is called the mantra. So this is the mantra, and basically this keeps you safe. And principle is not to try and be perfect. It's all about just being safe. And you cannot be safe if you cannot master yourself. So you have to master yourself before you can master the trade. Think about it. Your head controls your hands and your feet. So if your head is not in the right place, your hands and feet will not do the right thing. Look at this position and you'll see it's his head that's making his hands and feet do the right thing. Now we move on. The other thing is accepting what your role is. As a driver, you are responsible to manage hazards, okay? And not to be distracted and keep control of yourself. Well, in trading, it's the same thing. But what we do is we use these as an example. We're here to manage pink elephants. What is a pink elephant? It's something that is going to stop you from doing what you want to do safely. Okay, so we're here to manage pink elephants. Brown indicates leaves. We are not supposed to be getting distracted, and the market is designed to distract you and throw you off. And then all of that is managed by you controlling yourself. So the pink is the pink elephants, the brown is the leaves, and the blue is you mastering yourself and controlling yourself. That's your job as a trader. If you cannot do this, you will never be a safe, consistent trader. You might be a trader, but you're not going to be a safe, consistent trader. Now, we have a checklist, just like if you was driving, you don't just get in the car and go. You got to make sure you got enough petrol. You got to make sure your tires are good, the water, the engine. All of these things are crucial. The steering, all of that, your brakes. If you don't do that, you are not going to be safe. Well, with trading, unfortunately, people have this idea that you just jump on the charts. Well, that is actually high risk. So what we need is a checklist in order for us to be safe. And here is what we call the mantra, and it keeps us safe. So you'll have your content here, whatever that is. So let's say you wanted to take 10,000 and take it to 15,000. So you'll write that in here. I would like to take 10,000 A to 15,000 B. And all I'm interested in is doing it safely. I'm not interested in perfection. That's leaves. Okay. So if you're sitting there trying to be perfect, you're already doing leaves. And then there's going to be pink elephants along the way, and it's your job to manage those pink elephants. And all of that is controlled by your head. So where's my head? So we've got a question mark here to remind you where's your head? Your head has to be in the right place. Now we have a checklist here that we always use to keep us safe. And we've got the 4 L's. We've got, this is the mantra itself. That is a checklist. So you've got the 4 L's, then you've got the mantra, which is the 8-step process. Then you've got some of these important tools, internal tools, your A team, the 3 F's, MST, COA, MSTP, triple S, 4 S's, and most importantly, me, myself, and I. Okay, so I'm going to break these down in a minute, but just quickly showing you an overview is you've got to check in with yourself. So that's spiritual. You've got to kind of just center yourself before you start. Then you need a checklist, which is an 8-step process. Okay, and then you need your A team, which is, are you aware, are you alert, and are you anticipating risk? And now you don't want to feg yourself up. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're not suffering from fear of missing out. Okay, fear, ego, and greed, and FUD, which is fear, uncertainty, and desperation. So they're the 3 F's. Okay, now we also have to manage money, space, and time. Before you start trading, you got to manage money, space, and time. Yeah, and that goes for driving too. COA is controlling yourself, observing, and being accurate. All right, that's all this is about. That's a skill. The other skill set is you got to control your mind. Your mindset must be right. You have to have some fundamental skills, nothing drastic, but you do have to have some fundamental skills, such as you need to navigate the vehicle, which is maybe the MT4 platform, or know how to do draw a support and resistance line, or something basic like that. So we've got to have the right mindset. You've got to have some fundamental skills. You need to have some fundamental tools, okay, and then know how to use them, and you need to know how to protect yourself. So that is the skill set required to actually trade right there. Okay, and then your ability to see, say, and sort. So triple S stands for see it, say it, so you can sort it. All right, so that is the ability to see the trend, to be able to say, right, the trend is going up, the 1 hour is going down. That's seeing and saying, and then sorting it is making the right decision based on what you see and say. So that's a triple S. And then the 4 S's is, this is the one that everybody focuses on. All people care about is, what is your session? What session do you trade? What source do you trade? What strategy do you use? And what system do you use? That's all they want. They're forgetting about the bigger, wider picture, and they're wondering why they're losing money. Okay, that's like giving somebody a Lamborghini and not actually teaching them how to be safe. It's just ridiculous. So unfortunately, this is where everybody's going wrong in this trading world. Okay, and then right across here is what keeps everything together, and it's you, me, myself, and I. Now there's 3 of you. There's you, there's yourself, and there's I. So I'll give you an example of the me, myself. Me is, okay, it's an uptrend. Myself is, yeah, but it could be reversing. And I'm the one that's going to make the right decision because I'm supervising these two. And then I'm going to come up with the right decision. So me is telling you one thing, myself is telling you another, and I have to make the right decision based on this. So me, myself, and I. Okay, now we come down to this, and that is, the whole thing is all about taking safe action. Okay, so scientifically, in order for you to be safe, you need to prepare yourself. If you don't prepare yourself and you jump off the cliff with no parachute, you're going to be in trouble. So you prepare yourself, you observe, and then you take massive action. So 80% of what you do is all in the preparation. And unfortunately, people do not like to stay in this zone because, it's taking too long. and they're not seeing any results. Okay, so 80% of what you do is in the preparation. However, if you are properly prepared, you now need to observe, and you'll find that some people could get, it's called undue hesitation. You stay in here longer than you're supposed to. The red light has changed to amber and you're still stuck in the red light zone. So it's dangerous to go when it's not safe to do so, but it's also dangerous for you to stay in the red light zone when it's changed to amber. Okay, so red, do what you need to do, prepare yourself. And all of these structures help you to prepare yourself. Then you must recognize when it's amber and observe yourself. All right, on your marks, get set. All right, and then go. All right, so preparation, observation, massive action, POM. Now, the good news about POM is you can always reset at any time. So let's say you've come along to observations and you think, oops, I'm not quite right there. You go back to your preparation again. You can always reset at any time. All right, so that's POM. Now we come over to a basic checklist. And basically, whatever content you put here that you wanted to go from A to B safely, you would then now break it down. And the simple way for me to show you this is P's, all the P's. That's why it's in the red light zone, because it's crucial. All the crucial parts, the dangerous parts, should be done first. Then here is the observations. Anything to do with the observations goes here, and then the massive action goes there. Done. If your checklist has more than 10 things on it, it's too long. Okay, so preparation, observation, massive action, get on with it. All right. Now here you can put structure behind it. So here I will call this number 1, number 2, number 3. And in the case of trading, this would be number 1, number 2, number 3, and this would be number 4, number 4, number 4. All of this is all around the number 4, and then number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8. So this is the 8-step process. Okay. Now, well, I'm not going to tell you what they are because obviously that is down to when you come on our course, you would actually get the whole breakdown of this. And plus, you're going to need coaching on this because even though I might tell you one of them, so number 1 could be sit down. There's a breakdown to sitting down. So you're going to have to see, say, and sort. So it's not as easy as it sounds. It's like me saying, there's the clutch, use it. Just because I've told you about the clutch doesn't mean you can use it. You still now need to practice it. So there is a process to, and you've got to change your mindset. You understand? A whole shift, a paradigm shift when it comes to understanding sit down and having the discipline to sit down, and number 2, number 3, number 4, and so on and so forth. Okay. So the quiz now is, do you know what these are? How would you fill this in terms of the 8-step process? Look at this and tell me how you would fill this in. I gave you a clue by saying 1, 2, 3. Then I said 4, 4, 4, and this is 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's your job to fill the gaps. And what would you be putting here? Well, I'll tell you that. That would be P, 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 O, 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 M, 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 M. You're done. Okay, so now you go and get on with it. Very, very important. Okay, so this is 15 years of experience. It's called a cheat sheet because it's 15 years of experience condensed into one checklist. Now we move on. The POM. Okay, the POM, I told you how important that is. And you've noticed you see a traffic light system. On your marks, get set, go. Preparation, observation, massive action. That's it, done. Preparation, observation, massive action. Now we split it into, you do internal, which is within yourself. What preparation do you need? What observations do you need? And what massive action? Now this is the hardest. The internal changes are the hardest to do because of programming, pre-programming. External changes are easy. So for instance, if I need to move the television from the left to the right, I can do that in seconds. But internally, it's hard to shift yourself and sustain it. So we have to practice this. So there's POM right there staring you in the face. Now we break that down. Okay, so we've got traffic light system again. We've got the MSTP, which is the mindset, the skills, the tools, and the protection. We've got the money management, space management, and time management. We have the ability to see, say, and sort, and the ability to actually execute. And that is the actual plan, which is what session, what source, what strategy, what system, or what sessions, what sources do you trade, what strategies are you using, and what system are you using? There you are. Now, as I said to you, everybody keeps putting emphasis on this and then neglecting all of this. Now we move on to observations. You've got your A team. Now there's an A team, B team, C team, D team, E team. But right now, if we ain't got the A team, we don't even need to talk about the B team because you're going to crash and burn. So think about driving. If you're not aware, this is the first A. If you're not aware, you're not going to be safe. If you're not alert, you're not going to be safe. And if you're not anticipating risk, you're not going to be safe. So we start with the A team because if that's not right, you can forget the rest. Now we talk about the 3 Fs, all right? And that is fear of missing out, FEG, which is fear, ego, and greed, and then FUD, fear, uncertainty, desperation. You suffer from any one of these Fs, you're out the game, okay? And the markets is designed to feg you up. Now, me, myself, and I. Now, the biggest hazard, if you're thinking about what's the biggest hazard on the road, it's you. It's not the roundabout. It's not the car. It's you. So you've got to manage yourself, me, myself, and I, and then leaves. All right. You don't want to be getting distracted. So you're driving on the road and you're sitting there looking at every leaf or every tree. You're now being distracted, even though the leaves and the trees are on the road. That's not what you should be paying attention to. And now also your job is to also manage pink elephants. Pink elephants is hazards, things that are trying to block you from going where you need to go. You've got to manage them. And it's your job. Just like when you're driving, you've got to deal with the hazards and keep it moving. Massive action. So once you've done that, you prepare, you observe, you just get on with it. So we use a process called control yourself, observe, and then be accurate. Stop trying to be perfect. Perfection will paralyze you. Control yourself, observe, and just be accurate. All right. We've got an 8-step mantra, and we follow that 8-step mantra, but we constantly checking in on the COA and we'll always be prepared to POM, reset, go back to the beginning. And we rinse and repeat until we become a master. All right. Now we move on. And this is the actual breakdown of the 8 steps. Okay. So before we do the 8 steps, we need to check in internally and externally. What kind of day are you having? Is it a losing day, low day, lazy day, lucky day? It's a quick question in the now. What's going on? And if I told you to choose one of these, you would be able to choose one. If I said to you, what right now, which one is, you're only allowed to choose one. So you would have to choose exactly how you're feeling right now, internally. Externally, I will ask you the same thing. And you'll find that you might be feeling low internally, but outside it's lucky. So you would say something like low lucky. Okay. And sometimes they're synchronized. So you would say it's losing day inside. You might have lost a family member or something, losing day. And then it's losing, you feel like it's losing outside as well. And I don't mean outside the window, I mean externally outside of you. Okay. That's that. So that's very important that we stay grounded and we do some meditation and check in with ourselves and get ourselves in the right zone. A lot of people ignore that when it comes to trading. They think they can and just like driving, you've got to be optimized to drive and you have to be optimized to trade and be aware of where you are at. You can change your state, but it's important that you know where you're at. Now we talk about sitting down. Number one, sit down. Now, this is just an example. As I said, when you get into our course, we'll go deeper and deeper and deeper. But some basics, if you're not eating and drinking, that can be an issue for you as a trader. Simple thing like that. There is more, but we're just starting off like that. Number two, tools. You haven't got a checklist. You don't have a laptop. You don't have a platform. Forget it. Never mind anything else. So basic tools, you don't even have them. And you want to dominate the world in your undies, it's not going to happen. Number three, you don't have a plan, trading plan, spreadsheet, things like that. You don't know your numbers, you don't know what you're doing. But that's not going to work. That is just not going to work. Okay, so you do need to have some plan. There is more, but as I said, I'm just giving you an overview. The chart. Okay, so now you finally want to get on the chart, but you don't know what you're doing. You don't know there's a process to going on the chart safely so that you don't get romanced into taking and making the wrong decisions. Now we get to the trade itself. And by the time you get to the trade, you notice that it's going from red, amber, green, because by the time you get to the trade, it's easy. You're just going to either buy, sell, or there's no deal. You're either going to press the buy button, press the sell button, or there's no deal. Okay. Or you might delay the trade, which is what we call pending orders and things like that. Okay. Now, number 6 is journal. The journal is so important. Okay. You're not trying to be perfect here. What did you learn? What are you learning? What did you learn? What mistakes did you make? And what is your to-do list from your experience? That's where you get better and better and better. Just like driving, every time you make a mistake, you go away and you learn from it and you get better and better and better. So number 6 is a journal. Number 7 is your reward. Now, this is so important. Trading, there's no reward from trading. You're only pressing a buy button and a sell button and the stop loss and the take profit. There's no reward in that. The reward is you being disciplined to follow your mantra. You are now entitled to a reward, whether the trade wins or loses. The fact that you kept to your plan, you are now entitled to a reward. So you'll have a whole big list of rewards. I'd just say something like Netflix, shopping, etc., etc. And it can be as small as doing the washing up. It can be as big as buying a new Aston Martin. All right. And number 8, robot. This is where we sign off. This is where we can say we've reached the postcode, followed through, discipline, etc. And that is the mantra right there, right there.